Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera kepada rakan-rakan saya rindui semua daripada universiti awam dan juga ada beberapa rakan daripada universiti swasta. Pertama kali izinkan saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada pihak Universiti Sains Malaysia dan juga AKAP kerana menjemput saya untuk memberikan sedikit pandangan dan juga perkongsian ilmu bersama tuan-tuan dan puan-puan pada pagi ini. Dan saya yakin ini adalah hanya sebahagian kecil daripada perkara yang dibincangkan dan dilihat dalam program laser ini, dan diharap ini akan boleh menjadi satu sebahagian daripada perkara-perkara yang perlu dipenuhi dalam jigsaw puzzle leadership in academic society. Rakan-rakan, pertama kali juga saya ingin mengucapkan kesyukuran kepada Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala kerana dengan izin dan limpah kurnianya pada pagi ini kita dapat bersama-sama untuk berkongsi sedikit masa dalam perkara yang mungkin ada daripada kita ketahui, ada juga yang hanya mendengar sedikit sebanyak berkenaan dengan knowledge transfer, iaitu topik yang diberi kepada saya hari ini ialah how to effectively complete di knowledge transfer ataupun di teknologi transfer master plan. Pengalaman yang ada sedikit ni termasuklah yang ada di juga industri akan saya kongsikan sedikit. So thank you very much ladies and gentlemen. What I'm going to talk today is about knowledge transfer, and there are about 4 or 5 items on the card. I will probably first introduce the overview of the knowledge transfer, then explaining the so-called Malaysia KTP model and the framework that we do in Malaysia, and look at some rollout in terms of KT partnership in Malaysia and some way forward that we were looking at. In terms of the concept of knowledge transfer, we are going to look at a bit on UK model, the knowledge transfer concept, the definition, the types, the partnerships, and also funding. And towards the end, I will also explain a bit of my involvement in other matters regarding knowledge transfer. Knowledge transfer is essentially the sharing or disseminating of knowledge that can provide inputs to solve the problems of the community or the industry. And in organizational theory, this is the transfer is about practical solution from one part of an organization or from an organization to another. And all of us are doing knowledge transfer and knowledge sharing every day as an academics. Once we go into a class, we are disseminating knowledge. Once we do go into research, we are disseminating knowledge. But the parameters and the way and the modalities of the knowledge transfer is available, and there are many. So this is a term that is used to encompass the range of activities that can support mutually beneficial collaboration. I think the essence of knowledge transfer is about mutual and it's about collaboration. That is most important. I believe there is no forced partnerships and collaboration that can be successful in a knowledge transfer. And in some way, some in UK, for example, regards this as a contact sport, a knowledge transfer exchange or knowledge transfer platform that I can actually exchange ideas and do that. So for example, if you have a knowledge, a network in your university that you are organizing, that is a knowledge transfer platform. In USM, for example, APUSAN is one of an example of a knowledge transfer modality that can be used to share a lot of knowledges. So in essence, the concept is about a broad term that can use to support a number of activities that are mutually beneficial, as I said, to collaboration between universities, businesses, public sector, and all of us understand the triple helix or the quadruple helix that has been put forward. And these are essentially branches of knowledge transfer. So what it is in knowledge transfer, you can find this a lot on the social media. It is about the formation also of spin-out businesses, the licensing of intellectual property that can relate to technology-based and also many other based. So actually, again, if you are in an innovation center, you are actually in a knowledge transfer modalities to actually look at how intellectual properties, innovation that is carried out can be rolled out in terms of prototypes, in terms of working with partners and all that. So these are essentially what knowledge transfer is. Also, a better, good understanding of what knowledge transfer is, it involves at least 6 types in isolation or in combination of the various aspects. For example, when people graduate, students graduate, and they join the workforce, they bring the knowledge that we have imparted on them, and they start to begin transferring the knowledge that they have to their workplace. At the same time, they may be actually experiencing a knowledge infusion from the industry to themselves. Publication and events, seminars are also place where knowledge is transferred. Collaborative research is where knowledge is transferred. Consultancy, a very good example of where your knowledge is transferred to the client of what they require. So, and that can be very, very explicit and can be very, very exciting in terms of the way the knowledge is transferred. When I said about knowledge, it also involves technology. And the more foreign matter that usually we don't concentrate is about licensing, intellectual property, patent, and all that, are also a mechanism of the knowledge transfer. And definitely, if we are going on new business, bringing about research outputs to the market and all that are part of a knowledge transfer process. So this is a very broad overview. It is not just about one program. It is about a whole ambit of what knowledge is. And I will summarize this at the end of my talk. At the end. What we are doing in Malaysia is probably looking at also knowledge transfer partnership in UK, which has been there around 40 years. In my visits in the last few years to many places such as Hong Kong, Germany, and a few other countries, there are universities which have a specific knowledge transfer center, which revolves around the 6 items that I have put up on top, from graduate employability to licensing to new businesses, and they put this under the umbrella of a knowledge transfer center. So they combine some of this. I think in the University of Polytechnic of Hong Kong, if I'm not mistaken, there's quite a few items there. And this is an example. Another one that people don't realize that the graduate opportunities is also a process of where a knowledge transfer partnership can begin. So a lot of us didn't realize that if we talk to the potential employee, we could approach this from a knowledge transfer partnership, so that our students can go in with opportunity in internship, industrial training, that can actually work together with an active involvement of the academics, for example. And of course, anything that is going to be done, funding. And in UK, there is funding process that comes through, and KTP in UK is actually very much a private matter altogether. So my own experience in KTP overall here is that we formed, for example, CREST in 2011 to actually start pushing in knowledge and also technology and research to the industry. That's a good example. CREST is still standing today with a lot of members, and a lot of research and applied research that is being done, and producing some graduates from the universities that is part of the process. I'm also part of the STANBIAS organization in Malaysia, which originated from Germany. It is also a knowledge transfer organization that actually provides opportunities for consultancy, graduate employments with the industry from the university and also from the sectors of industry. In Malaysia, this was introduced in 2010 in Ministry of Education, and we can look at a few items there in terms of what it is. For example, where is KTP in RDCE? What is KTP punya model in Malaysia? How do we implement those? The processes and also some achievement that we have gone through a few years. So if we look at the KTP in RDCE, we can find that after research, then it can be a KTP that actually can extract the research to partner with many of institutions to then work on development, commercialization, or entrepreneurship. So there is definitely a place of KTP in RDCE, and many of the items that in the 6 matters that I have put up just now is actually here. Innovations, licensing, and all that are part of a bigger KTP process. In Malaysia, the KTP model is to oversee the implementation of KTP program, from policy to program planning to sustainability of funding, evaluation and selection of grants, and also implementation. And we do that through this process, from input to activity to evaluation and reportage, from project selection to project implementation to output to outcome and also impact, looking at proposals, periodic report, monitoring visits, and evaluators report, and impact study on behalf of the Ministry of Higher Education or the Ministry of Education. This is a model that we used, one of the potential model, but this is being applied. The KTP program is coming from academia to organizations, SMEs, or community, B40, that can benefit from the knowledge to enhance their business or give improvement to the quality of life. And we use the transferee, the medium, the graduate intern to manage and extract the knowledge out of a KTP project and lead the project to and maybe bring some of the project to their own. And we know that some actually has developed their own business from the project that has been done. There are 3 possible options of the model. What we are doing is model 1, yaitu knowledge is transferred from higher education institution to the industry or the community. But there can also be a knowledge transfer from the community or industry to the higher education institution, or it can be a hybrid exchange or where it is. So the later models or the later advancement that is being done is probably working around model 3, which I will explain a bit later. For the whole of KTP program that we do in terms of the project evaluation, and that is actually based on model 1. And the process that have been go through is application, evaluation, interviews, selection, implementation, reporting, and also monitoring. So these are the 6 processes that have been established over the last 10 years of the projects that is there. It does work through evaluators and also consultation with the people. And we do also training for people for evaluation and also monitoring. To now, we have disbursed 522 projects completed and ongoing, 291 with industry, 231 with community, involving about 2,000 academia and about 1,000 graduate intern. Initially, when it was approved, it was totally for KTP and industry. But we negotiated with the central agency and they gave us 70% to 30% split so that we can work through in terms of value of the allocation. But in terms of the numbers, you can see that it's probably about the same. We also developed a web-based system of monitoring called MyKTP. And this is a process of monitoring through online. And we also send teams to go down to the ground to actually look at the event monitoring on selected projects. We have won Anugerah Hijau Negeri Melaka for the work that we do with Melaka. When these are some of the work that we do for the research so that we can actually look at the extension of the future of KTP. Of course, at USM, we have managed to get Torre to actually support the construction of a building called the Torre USM Knowledge Transfer Center for what has been there. So the framework that we have done, as I mentioned, we will look at the need to actually move the KTP in a broader framework. There are monitoring of the projects, the outcomes, the rollout, and also publication and conferences that we have done. And from our research, we find that the current implementation is actually on a narrow concept. Thus, therefore, we need to work to give a more holistic approach on the knowledge transfer in any organization that is going to be done. And this is the proposed comprehensive framework of knowledge transfer in Malaysia done through the research that has been conducted. Is small, so you can see that this is what has been developed, is actually spearheaded by our professors in UUM, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So these are some of the ideas of what the knowledge transfer framework that can happen if it is going to be applied. For as far as project is concerned, we do web-based monitoring. We do evaluation. There's a database on all the activities of the 522 projects, and it's accessible a platform by all universities to actually monitor the projects that are registered under this database. As far as outcome is concerned, this is projects that we have done. We monitor some impact evaluation on 241 projects. The category is 12% excellent, 50% good, 30% satisfied, and 1% weak. And we look at graduate career into path, graduate path. That is about 93 of them working in government sector, 154 in private sector, 20 become entrepreneurs, 9 went for further studies, and some still unemployed, which an income of between 400 to about 2,000 average extra income on top of what they get. In terms of revenue for the projects, they get the community or industry get a revenue between 10,000 to 500,000, and product and services from those projects that we have seen is about 179, and some innovation project. So we have found that for every dollar spent for this program, it gives an impact return of about $15 for this project. But it is very time consuming to do monitoring and everything. But this is across the public universities that participated in these projects. Yeah. I can give you a bit of the projects that we have selected. This is about a 5-minute video. Let's try and see whether you can get. Okay, so this is what I said is this KTP project yang kita telah pilih some of them, and then kita summarizekan the objective yang saya tunjukkan tadi. Ini adalah projek di sebuah universiti yang dilaksanakan dan ini adalah bersama industri. So the focus ialah bersama industri dan ada juga yang pergi kepada community. Ini ada juga yang training to disperse the knowledge that went through. This is one of our professors daripada UTHM, tak silap saya. And the best of KTP project yang kita tunjukkan di sini ialah dalam industri, for example, ialah daripada UTHM, Profesor Ng, untuk upgradekan flying system, and untuk makluman kita leave it to the universities to actually roll out and expand the projects to create their own business, to create their own IP. The Secretariat or the Ministry of Education never ganggu this process. So it is up to the university. So this is from UITM, Dr. Mio dan rakan-rakan menjalankan projek ini. So it is category or this community, ini adalah daripada UPSI. They transfer some of the knowledge to the school children and how to develop this. Okay, so that's one example. The other one is from USM on archaeology, how they train the locals to become part of the ecotourism punya process, dan bagi dia orang faham about how excavation and also archaeological works is done, so that they become. So dalam kategori akademia, USM punya work on the oyster production oleh Profesor Dato Aidin ialah an example of how kita academia play a role in developing and also work on oyster farming and also tourism. Ini Profesor Azmi dari UPM on project vermicompost yang telah dilaksanakan di MPSJ dan juga I think tak silap saya di Melaka yang dilaksanakan. So this is process that it goes through. Part of the way they work is coming from the funding, and this one is from UUM untuk work on teen entrepreneurship, train the students to become entrepreneurs. So you can see that the type of projects that is done is actually very broad dan juga it goes there. Dalam graduate intern, this is about quality management system in engineering maintenance company, and the achievement is that the graduate intern has its own company now, dan dia develop the company and become dia ada client daripada Felda dan sebagainya in that, from there. The other one is untuk integrated production. What he has been able to do is a company also at the incubator complex ini, and they are now on their own to actually come out. So from the project of KTP, it becomes there. And also this one from USM juga telah dapat develop and also get gross profit about 250,000 from the projects. I hope they are still in business dalam keadaan sekarang. So overall, these are some of the projects that can be highlighted across the board. Okay, the other one is that also in terms of di USM, kita telah berupaya. The other, I'm sure there are others di universiti lain yang able to do the rollout. So we have done a rollout in terms of public service delivery transformation. Pada masa tu that is government agency yang dah tak ada sekarang ni, they support us to work in Melaka. NCIA work with us on Community Innovation Center, and there's a pilot project on drug abuse in Terengganu, and of course there's a Torre Center. So roll out di Melaka, kita were given some assistance to work with Melaka, and these are some of the projects we did in 2014 and 2015. For Community Innovation Center, that was approved by NCIA board. It goes to about 8 projects that impacted about 126 households with average installed income and also average revenue that come in, and innovation of about 29 elements and product development of about 28. The project, for example, is about Kelulut punya products yang kita boleh buat dengan the various community. I think this is at Felda. And there was also a project on drug abuse di Besut Terengganu, mengurangkan penagihan dadah di Besut. That was done, and also of course there was this knowledge transformation center. We have applications in terms of proceeding. We do a bit of the symposium last kali, I think in 2019, that we did every year. There are proceedings from there, and there are monitoring publications that we push through and we send to every university. And there are some research publications that we have done through the various researchers there. And of course, there are seminars and conferences along the way, as I said, up to about 2019 that we went through. Yeah. So in short, what we do is that knowledge transfer should be looked at not just about the projects and the program, but also overall. And currently, we understand that there are some development, and I'm going to look at a bit on what, to me, I term it as the third pillar of the university. And I will show you a bit of ideas on how knowledge transfer management can be looked at, and probably look at how USM is doing about the future. So hari ni Tania, Proraman tengok apa? USM dapat berapa? Number 8 dalam dunia. Or number 35 dalam sustainability and all that, dalam THE. Okay. So the third pillar of university now is quite varied, in the sense, I think tuan-tuan dan puan tahu bahawa there is the work on University for Society. Yesterday, Dato Asma was talking about translational research, and the existence of this community engagement punya program dan juga organisation di banyak universiti, bermula around 2007 to 8 like that. And there's KTP and also there's PPRN. So if we're looking at that, we actually can look at the comparison. Yang ni nanti I think secretary ada slides kan, boleh tengok the comparison between knowledge transfer, PPRN, University for Society, apa yang dilaksanakan dan sebagainya, and apa yang boleh. Kalau tuan-tuan tengok, for example, University for Society is aimed at working with community, PPRM is working at the community industry, but knowledge transfer can actually reach both, and also probably in combination out of quadruplex. This also can be compared with translational research and community engagement. You can see that mungkin kedua-dua ini ada banyak persamaan daripada segi translational research, but a bit on the way maybe how it is implemented. But these are some of the things that tuan-tuan mungkin good take home punya ni ialah to use this as to see how and what it fits into the way you are doing it. Yeah. Okay. This is a chart that I can show you a bit of how we can view a knowledge transfer management in that sense. Yeah. I developed this. Saya developed this dengan beberapa rakan towards the end of 2016. In essence, when we are looking at knowledge, we should actually understand the concept of knowledge bridging, knowledge diffusion, knowledge absorption, knowledge gain, and knowledge exchange. Yeah. First, in the card is we should identify the problem, review, and look at knowledge selection. A very simple example, if, for example, we go into our class, we want to teach, most of us, I hope so, would determine what are the knowledge level of our students before we begin diffusing the knowledge to them. Because if we don't look at what is the gap, we will not be able to look at how we diffuse to it. If we take knowledge project or knowledge transfer project, be it community engagement, we need to understand the gap that is around and bridge this gap. Then the next step is to diffuse, make sure our guys absorb and they gain, and then they can start exchange. And the outer part is really processes ataupun the mechanism that we can go through from identifying problem to actually look at how to adopt knowledge to local context or current environment, assess the barriers to knowledge, yeah, yang faham ke, yang tak faham ke. And then kalau kita nak buat project, there are a lot of things that need to be done. Hand-holding, training certification, incubator, capacity building, and knowledge gain, for example. We need to monitor the knowledge that we can actually gain and then evaluate the outcome. After this is where the knowledge exchange is, the actual transfer is. If you graduate the students, they need to understand bahawa the knowledge they gain is actually need to be sustained, and that then goes to lifelong learning, nation building, wealth creation, and also quality of life. So I think this Raja can be applied to many instances, and this is the processes from knowledge bridging to diffusion, to absorption, to gain, and to knowledge exchange. So therefore, overall, ialah knowledge management or knowledge transfer management is not about organization, neither it is about creating a center or what. I think we have got to see in terms of the broad overview of what we are doing and have the various facets in managing these knowledge processes being done. So if we have this in a framework, in whatever format you want to see, I am sure the processes will be there. Bearing in mind that those target knowledge that is going to be transferred need to have a mediums and need to have mechanism to move through. Okay, I borrow some of the slides from USM. Definitely a good look at what they are doing a very bit. So Tuan Syed, Prof Rahman, saya pinjam sikit to look at how USM look at the processes in terms of the various community engagement, UCE, they are doing, how many projects they work through, what they get in terms of translational research, Northern Corridor punya Empower Academic Program. This is the today yang kita buat ni, Higher Education Leadership di ACAP. They also get some projects from Teraju dan juga from ICU. So I think what USM has been able to do is to find potential grant to work through the various projects. You can call it whatever you want to name it. There's no problem. Tetapi dia ada definitely grant punya conditions, the target group, the knowledge that need to be imparted, the projects that need to be selected, dan the process. So ini ada some a summary of what it is on translational research. To scale up, there are about 200 participants, jobs creation, product that has been increased, participant income, downstream created dan sebagainya. So these are the example of the Inno4C yang telah dilaksanakan dan sedang dilaksanakan, the various project ya. Ini for example paper scale up project, madu kelulut dan sebagainya yang boleh ditengok. Ini adalah sustainable marketing punya project yang they are trying to reach out until China, US, Saudi, Taiwan dan sebagainya. That can actually work too. So ini are examples of how we can work even on education, on the program dengan Northern Corridor, for example, benefiting about 3,000 beneficiaries, students, parents, teachers, dan juga coaches in terms of USM students dan sebagainya. And another one is about program pembangunan pendidikan Bumi Putera that also works through with ICU in the university. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think I have done about 40 minutes of the presentation. I think we can actually wait. We can proceed to another one. Yeah. Thank you.
Majlis merakamkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan kepada Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dato' Surveyor Dr. Omar Osman di atas perkongsian sebentar tadi. Jadi tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, sekiranya ada soalan yang boleh diajukan kepada Dato', saya persilakan. Terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum Dato'.
Waalaikumsalam.
Dato', saya Dr. Nur Khalid ni dari UPSI.
Silakan.
Okey, nak bertanya lah, tapi mungkin Kak Dato' mungkin Kak urus dia USM tentang projek KTP projek ni kan, rasanya dulu memang sukses kalau tengok Datuk Mokhtar Saidin pun projek dia baik dekat Sungai Petani tu. Saya adalah penilai projek tu, memang baguslah. Dia dapat lahirkan 8 orang green badge untuk turis. Tapi tak tahulah yang projek KTP masih diteruskan lagi oleh pihak USM ataupun masih menunggu dana, ataupun itu mungkin Datuk boleh jawab sikit kot, bagi-bagi hint kat USM punya team.
Okay, to everyone that's why saya presentkan dengan the broad overview the funding dah stop lama pun sebenarnya. Or it's only in the last not in this Malaysia plan. It was stopped I think in 2015, tak silap saya. Tak silap saya, it was 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14. So the last funding was in 2014. So apa yang from 2015 sampai sekarang ni dan dah habis pun, I think dah tak ada dah. Ni ialah wang daripada funding itu yang lebih daripada projek-projek kita roll out lagi. So I think the last roll out is the last this year awal kot, tak silap saya. Very small. So basically in terms of this KTP punya program yang saya tunjuk ada 522 tu, I don't think so there is going to be any more funding. There's no more funding lah. Dalam rancangan Malaysia ke-11 ni tak ada langsung funding lah. Okay. So apa yang ada funding tu ialah funding yang lebih yang di roll out to make the best use of what is some project, for example, dia habis, dia tutup account dan dia lebih dia hantar balik kepada universiti atau dia simpan nanti kepada USM, and then USM akan roll out lagi project dia through the KTP Secretariat dan kita akan bagi. So kita survive 10 years with 5 years funding punya ni. Sebab I think it will end this year, tak silap saya, habis dah. So pada saya, the most important thing is to look at the KTP, knowledge transfer program in a broader viewpoint untuk universiti. Contoh yang saya bagi tadi ada 6 perkara yang boleh dilihat daripada graduate employability sampai new businesses and also licensing. So look at that from that concept. Dan towards the end tadi saya bagi satu framework knowledge transfer management yang boleh digunakan, tidak ada IP dan tidak pada saya menggunakan konsep knowledge for all. Ambil lah, gunalah, adjust lah, buatlah macam mana pun, trapezium ke apa ke, pyramid ke, nak buat macam mana pun, but ensure that apa yang kita lakukan itu ada objektif dia. It moves beyond research, it moves beyond academics. So kalau kita nak pakai the research component saja, it doesn't serve the society. It must be impacted upon the industry. Banyak daripada proses yang dilaksanakan ialah about industri. Saya masih lagi aktif dalam stand-based program di Germany adalah satu fine example of a very dynamic knowledge transfer punya proses dan program yang dilaksanakan di Germany dengan collaboration dengan industri. Contohnya, it doesn't wait for the government funding. So pada saya, seperti yang ditunjukkan oleh USM, yang saya bagi contoh, maaf yang lain saya tak dapat data dan makluman, jadi saya tak boleh tunjuk sebagai contoh lah. Tapi alhamdulillah lah USM ni masih baik dengan saya kan. Jadi mereka bagilah makluman-makluman yang saya perlukan. Walaupun saya tinggal secara khususnya KTP ni dah nak masuk 5 tahun dah ya. Tapi we are still in touch. Kita masih lagi ada beberapa aktiviti laksanakan. So saya punya advice kepada rakan-rakan is take KTP overview. It's not about branding. Neither it is about organization and governance. It is about the overview of how we want to have an impact on the lives of others. I think that is most important. Yeah. Thank you lah ya. Rakan-rakan yang ada di sini, saya tahu ada beberapa orang yang terlibat dalam KTP.
Datuk,
Ya.
Datuk, ni Prof Rahman ni pada juga saya.
Ya Datuk, apa khabar?
Terima kasih Datuk. Very good presentation. Saya pernah terlibat dengan masa dululah, masa projek KTP bersama satu ni, dan alhamdulillah because of the KTP tu saya dapat my IR. Because of the project KTP tu actually is very beneficial to us lah. Walaupun kita transfer knowledge tu kepada industri, tapi kita sendiri sebagai akademia kita berjaya lah. Saya dapat IR saya because of that project, and then my student been hired as a lecturer because of the intern yang dia buat. Because walaupun dia masih lagi PhD student, tapi dia buat yang intern tu, so dia ada practical knowledge. So when bila dia pergi untuk interview, dia ada advantage banding dengan orang lain lah yang buat PhD juga, ada doctorate juga, tapi dia dapat because of that. So it was very helpful lah for both the lecturer and also the student yang involved dengan KTP project ni. Dan sekarang ni pun kementerian banyak lagi continue similar kind of project, PPRN, translational research dan sebagainya. Dan saya memang, I think that's how we can see the impact lah that we can make to the society or to the industry lah. So this kind of project. Itu daripada saya Datuk. So tahniah kerana memulakan program yang beginilah bersama dengan pihak industri dan juga masyarakat. Terima kasih Datuk.
Okay, saya punya ni ialah for example kalau USM Secretariat KTP ni atau siapa yang in charge nak continue lah kan, kita ada 2,000 academia and about 1,000 intern for example. These are very good resources yang kita boleh gembelingkan to move dia knowledge and also share with others. Itu yang boleh dilaksanakan contohnya. Dan saya tahu bahawa rakan-rakan di sini ramai yang tengah get involved. I think it's very important that KTP in terms of the way it manage or whatever project you manage to work on multifunctional team. It is very important. The facets of graduate employability ataupun graduate graduate intern tu is also quite important. So kalau buat program apa, masukkan this element of graduate intern di dalam itu. Kerana we are giving a lot to the students by exposing them to the reality of life. I think that is more important. Dan kalau ada funding untuk support dia orang is good. Kalau tak ada, I think they should actually come also in terms of that yang kita boleh laksanakan. So saya rasa itu adalah good kalau kita boleh get the graduates to be together dengan knowledge transfer process. Tuan Syed tunjuk muka nak cakap apa?
Silakan Tuan Syed, mungkin ada satu dua kata yang boleh diberikan kepada Dato' Omar. Silakan.
Sepatah dua sahaja. Alright, on behalf of USM and personally Dato', saya ingin merakamkan jutaan terima kasih kepada Dato' yang selalunya setia dengan USM. Tengok hari ni pun pakai tie USM. Okay. For your stimulating presentation. I think KTP has done a lot, and KTP has set the foundation for a more vigorous community engagement. And I think I have to thank you for this, because as far as we are concerned, I think we have gained a lot and we have benefited a lot from KTP. All right, we are also very grateful to you, Dato', for the time and effort you took to share your thoughts today. And I hope this will not be your last venture with us. All right, so I hope you can also come in our future program dengan ACAM, inshallah. All right, so once again, Dato', thank you very much, and hope to see you soon.
Okay, I just want to share a bit on the 5 years I ada di dengan DRB ini. DRB Group is a big conglomerate. We are 45,000 employees dalam the one of the stable of Syed Mukhtar. Kalau masuk other stables, termasuk MMC, Malakoff, and also Trade Winds, we could probably reach nearly about 100,000 employees. So I call upon all of you to actually look at the industry. I think knowledge transfer is a mechanism to reach the industry. But to collaborate with industry is actually very tough. So therefore, I call upon this, walaupun ini banyak daripada community punya side, but I think the industry engagement is very important. It is very difficult, it's very challenging. But a lot of diffusion, a lot of knowledge exchanges, and a lot of new things that is being done on a practical basis happens in the industry. The challenge is how to be able to stay in, macam saya dapat duduk 5 years with the big conglomerate. I am one of the about 40 CEOs of the DRB group in this big industry. I'm the only academic at the top management, dan jadi kita nak berinteraksi dengan mereka ni adalah satu challenge, and a lot of them are very young but widely experienced. So the challenge of universities in Malaysia ialah to be able to work together with the industries, listen to them, know what their aspiration and what they wanted, and then I think the advent of the university being relevant to nation building will be realized. Walaupun saya dari universiti yang berteraskan industri dan industri, ada program 2U 2I dan sebagainya in terms of knowledge transfer, it doesn't come on a silver plate, let me tell you. So I think saya doakan rakan-rakan yang mempunyai tugas di universiti, open the horizon, get the connectivity, follow some good models. Of course, saya akan always refer pada USM, being a community engagement punya division and maybe industry punya division are able to bring in tons of money, that provides potential employment for people dan juga benefits to the society. So terima kasih rakan-rakan semua. Terima kasih being together. I know you have long day. A lot of knowledge is being infused. I hope this little talk inspire you, all of you. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yes, very much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih banyak yang berbahagia Profesor Datuk Surveyor Dr. Omar Osman di atas perkongsian sebentar tadi. Terima kasih banyak Datuk. Baiklah, sebagai tanda penghargaan dan terima kasih daripada pihak urus setiap program, sedikit cenderamata akan dikirimkan kepada yang berbahagia sebagai tanda penghargaan dan juga mendoakan semoga jalinan kerjasama ini dapat diteruskan lagi di masa akan datang. InsyaAllah. Terima kasih banyak Datuk.
Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Take care. Have a nice
Salam.
presentation.